and 4, 3, 2, 1. We're live. Samiha, over to you.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Entrepreneurship World Cup United Kingdom's National Finals 2020. We're extremely honored to have you all here with us today. EWC is a joint initiative of the Miss Global Forum, the Global Education and Leadership Foundation, as well as the Global Entrepreneurship Network. To kick things off, I would like to invite Arnav Sahani, who is the representative of TGELF, which is both a national organizer as well as a global host. If you could please share a few words about EWC 2019 as well as TGELF.
First of all, thank you so much to all the startups for joining us, to all the judges for joining us. It's great to have you, and we're really looking forward to the event ahead. You've cleared some tough rounds, and we'd also like to wish you best of luck as you move ahead in this. But very quickly, I'll just take a minute to tell you a bit about TGELF. TGELF is a global education and leadership foundation, which is focused on ethical leadership and entrepreneurship. So we're funded by a family that our chairperson quotes at one point had owned 1% of Amazon. They probably sold it too soon, but they've always been investors, they've always been entrepreneurs, and as a family, they're very supportive of promoting entrepreneurship globally. TGELF is present across 14 countries, with India as the headquarters. And we have a variety of entrepreneurship initiatives, right from the school level to beyond. Last year, we launched, along with MISC and GEN, we launched the Entrepreneurship World Cup 2019, and that was a pilot year. And it was a great success. And we look forward to doing it every year and doing it in different countries across the globe. But without taking much time, I'd like to just ask Abdul Rahman, I think, to speak about Entrepreneurship World Cup as a concept, and tell you a bit more about that.
Sure. Thanks, Arnav. Welcome, everyone. Abdul Rahman joining from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, where the temperature is still, still hot. We're hoping for kind of like cooler weathers in the coming few weeks. I'm from the global team of the Entrepreneurship World Cup from the MISC Foundation, the MISC Global Forum. The MISC Global Forum, in a few words, is essentially a nonprofit that was founded with the kind of like the dire focus on young people and youth in general, and how can we help them prepare for the future economy. We're all from a generation that has been kind of like widely impacted, mostly positively, by the kind of like the advent of technology, the social media, and many other ways. And kind of like as a foundation, our main focus is to help the young people of today prepare for the future workforce and really broadly life, with the changes that we expect to continue to happen. The Entrepreneurship World Cup is kind of like a collective thinking between MISC, TGELF, and the Global Entrepreneurship Network, GEN, along with a host of incredible global partners like GSV Labs and others, who were really thinking, how can we really create a global movement around entrepreneurship where every entrepreneur can learn from other peer entrepreneurs across the globe. So you can get really the support within your country, but then once you've expanded your horizon and wanting to expand globally and wanting to connect with others, that you would really get the network that would take you from an idea to a launch business, or from a launch business to a scalable enterprise. I am very personally thrilled to be joining the event tonight, an event that I've been personally, as I was telling my colleagues earlier, I have been looking forward to it for weeks. Really seeing kind of like almost a applicant pool of more than 1,000 to really trim it down to the very, very top 8 startups just makes us feel that all the startups today are incredible and are winners. So to all the startups, I want to tell them that they're winners no matter what happens. And by the sheer joining of the EWC network, we will always be connecting with you with additional support, with connection with investors, and many other ways. We're launching very soon. We're very incredibly excited. An investor portal, which is a full experience between investors and startups to really take this experience to the next level. To the judges tonight, we want to thank them for graciously accepting to be part of the panel. You truly are the backbone of the experience that we deliver to the participants of the EWC with your knowledge, with your expertise. And finally, to the great team at T-Gulf, we want to thank them for the incredible work for months, really making sure that this whole experience from technological perspective to an ecosystem kind of like standpoint to really to this event. Thank you for this work. I am thrilled and I'm going to have so much fun. Not just me, but everyone who's passionate about startups. They're going to have a lot of fun watching this. So good luck to all the startups.
Thank you so much, Mr. Abdul Rahman. I would now like to introduce our judging panel here today. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. First up, we are joined by Mr. Daniil Kozlov, who is the managing partner at Global Venture Alliance. Thank you so much for joining us. We would also like to extend a warm welcome to Mr. Kirti Lalkala, who is the Vice President of New Technologies at Sun Group. We're also joined by Mr. Nzube Ufadike, who is a mentor, coach, and cybersecurity scout at Wira UK. Thank you so much for taking the time to guide our young entrepreneurs today. With that, we're going to commence with the round of pitches. The format will be a 3-minute pitch by the startups, followed by a 3-minute Q&A session with our judges. First up, we have Volvero. So if you could please share your screen.
Hello, everyone. I am almost ready. Just a second. You should see the full screen presentation right now. Is that true?
Yes, that is correct.
Great. Shall I start?
Please, you can start now.
Yep. Great. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Marco Filippi, CEO and founder of Volvero. We enable democracy of driver, fewer vehicles, but for everybody. There is a perfect storm in the transportation industry out there, and I am referring to the fact that there is a huge bunch of cars that stays there, parked aside the street. Indeed, millennials, for instance, are not using and buying cars anymore, while owners just use them for 4% of the time. This means that for 96% of their lifetime, cars and vehicles remain parked. If we add this problem also the fact that millennials, as said, are not buying cars anymore, car dealers also have a huge amount of cars that remain there and they are not able to sell them. All of this is happening while millions of people all over the world are suffering and find optimal solution for their mobility needs. Indeed, car rental is rigid, never evolved its business model in the last 30 years. Car sharing offers just limited usability, and public transport, of course, is crowded and in times of COVID is not good, but it's also not reliable and not flexible. So our solution is an app for connecting owners of vehicles with a community of drivers while using the most advanced technology. Right now is the proper moment to do this because there are some trends in act, like changes in society, in economy, and also in the technology that are allowing us the development of peer-to-peer car sharing, but also B2C car sharing scheme. We are not the only one in the market, but we are unique because of our insurance policy that is part of our IP and is developing partnership with a global player that allow us to share not only cars, but also motorcycle, recreational vehicle, and the commercial vehicles. So it's peer-to-peer and B2C, but also the fact that we are using technology for lower asymmetric information and creating user awareness. What we have done in these 2 years since our inception is a pilot before COVID, and we also have agreement with major car dealers that are ready for using our app as soon as we will go live, which means 1 or 2 months from now, because we are just waiting for the COVID to go on. And the team, of course, that is working on this. I am the CEO and founder, experienced in finance. My co-founders, they do have experience in AI and IT, both come with more than 30 years of experience. And we do have a team of engineers who also take care about marketing and sales. Our advisory board is composed by great people with expertise in digital marketing and startup management. And we make money just by retaining a percentage on each transaction. We are here because we need to fundraise very soon, and also because we want to create partnership and synergies. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Marco Filippi, CEO and founder of Volvero. Thank you.
Time is up.
Thank you so much for that, Volvero. We're going to open the floor for any questions by our judges.
Yeah, if I may jump in. Marco, thank you for the presentation. A few things that I'm kind of curious about. You talk about the model goes straight to the dealer and basically allows you to rent the car from the dealer through an app. Did I understand this correctly? Okay.
Yeah, so we started with the idea, it was 3.5 years ago, to create a peer-to-peer solution, but then we discovered that it was much easier for us to grow organically by dealing with the car dealers and car rentals. They are not selling cars anymore, and they need to find new ways to make money.
Okay.
And we give them the technology to do that.
But the technology itself is similar to the car sharing technology, correct? That where you basically control the car with the phone, and then there's telematic equipment in the car itself, correct?
We don't do telematic in the car. We do telematic on the mobile phone. So based on the sensors of the mobile phone, we collect data, and our algorithm of artificial intelligence analyzes the data and gives back feedback, reverts score to users that are used for a gamification purposes.
Okay, then I'm sorry, maybe I misunderstood the startup. What does the startup allow me to do? I'm a user.
So
what do I do?
We provide an app where you can find a vehicle that you can rent if you need one, or you can rent out if you are a dealer, a car rental, or a private owner.
Okay, but there is no telematic, so you basically still have to go physically and fill out the paperwork.
The telematic is embedded in the app, so there is no paperwork. We have fully digitalized everything.
But to hand over the keys, you can't open it from your phone.
No. That's because in the United States, where there are similar solutions, just 2 owners out of 10 are using the automated box, the automated plugin for opening the car from remote. Users still prefer to meet in person. So we learned this from the experience of others, and we are trying to just stick to what it really works.
So which market are you going to? United States?
No, we are starting from Europe, and since we do have this partnership with this insurance group, we are able to deliver in different markets. So we are in the right position to scale up quickly and fast.
Okay, just a few quick inputs, then I'll let my colleagues comment. One of our graduates is one of the biggest car sharing companies in Europe right now, with over 6,000 cars, and so we know the space pretty well. I can tell you 3 things that you will run into inevitably, and which are the biggest risks or threats on your path right now. One, most of the car sharings that are established players in the markets like Car2Go, etc. They are going to be going to the dealers and making partnerships with them to put telematic equipment in the cars, because using the phone to rent out the car is much easier, and it's actually where the whole market is going. So you will be soon competing with Car2Go, Belka, Yandex, and a bunch of other big guys that are going or going to be playing in Europe. And so you have to run really fast, and it's a question of how your model is better if their model is going to be using telematics. This is where the whole market is going. It's coming on trend, and this is confirmed by the multiple experts. The second problem is there is the problem, who takes the responsibility for the car. And if you're just an information service, then where's the biggest value proposition? So what's the difficulty of entering the market with another app just like yours, with some money invested in some development? Because there's really the biggest technical side difficulty is where you basically manage the fleet. The actual app side is less difficult to recreate. So how do you handle the competition is another big question there. So those are, I think, the main two things just to keep in mind. The market is, in general, is growing, and it's good, and not just in Europe is probably one of the best spots, but I would also think about Asia. And third and last, you said use other types of transport. I think you have to define yourself very clearly, whether it's motorbikes, cars, or scooters and other electric vehicles, because they have completely different models, completely different B2C approach, completely different marketing, all three of them, completely different economics and unit economics, etc. You can't cater to all of them. That's, no investor will believe that. I, as an investor, don't believe in that. You tell me if you're doing cars, I believe. If you're doing bikes, I believe you, but you can't do all three at the same time. They're very different. Maybe step by step.
No, we are not doing all the three types. Our insurance policy allow owners to share cars, motorcycles, commercial vehicles, and recreational vehicles. So it's not that we are the new Lime that is trying to be also the new jump bikes and like that. So we just manage the marketplace, and that's it. Then in our marketplace, we are in a good position because
market. Don't go in there. Use cars. My advice.
Apologies. I just have a quick announcement to make. I request the judges to please the questions short, since we only have a 3-minute timeline for Q&A. Sorry for the interruption. Unless, do we have any more questions here?
If
there's still time, I can go with a quick question.
Yes, okay. We can accommodate.
Okay. Really brief on the financials. So thank you for the presentation, by the way. Good pitch. You highlighted you're trying to raise capital. I don't know if you could quickly talk through some of your projections over the next 12 months in terms of where you expect to be making money from.
Yeah, so we retain a percentage on each transaction from the very beginning. Then we can also monetize on the data that we collect when someone is driving, because as mentioned, we do telematics based on the mobile phone rather than on the dongle that you plug in your car. So, but at least for the first years, we will be making money just from the transaction. We expect to generate more or less 1.5 million in GMV for the first year. So
thank you. And you're looking to raise how much?
Yeah, we are raising 1.2 million United States dollar, and 65% of it is committed by not leading investors. So we are actually trying to fill it for the remaining 35% with a lead investor.
Gotcha. Can you say anything about valuation at this stage, or?
We are going on with a safe, so we are not really talking about valuation. So
cool, brilliant. Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you so much, Volvero. Next up, we have Genesis. If you could please share your screen.
Give me 1 second. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Good to go?
Okay.
Yes, you can start now.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Meros. I'm a PhD at, just graduated PhD out of University of Oxford, and here to present Genesis for you. So imagine that you have a loved one who has heart disease. They go to the hospital, they get treated by the physician, and then they get prescribed a well-known medication. At the 3-month time when they have a follow-up, they come back to the doctor, and their conditions actually worsened. The medication, the patient has been taking the medication, the doctor prescribed the right medication, but it is not working. And that is the case of 1 in 2 patients. 50% of patients with cardiovascular disease don't actually respond well to the first line of treatment. And this not only results in getting no treatment, also results in 1 in 3 patients of cardiovascular disease having adverse drug reactions. That means they get worsened off, whether they get admitted to the hospital or they have more complications. And this costs in Europe just alone, direct cost, over $20 billion a year. So what we are proposing is to find a method for getting the right drug for the right patient, right? So what we start off is that when a patient gets diagnosed with a disease, all we do is get a skin biopsy. So it's the size of a paper punch hole. We get the skin cells and transform them into these stem cells. These stem cells can be turned into any cell type, whether it's a cardiomyocyte, which is a heart cell, whether it's a kidney cell, whether it's a brain cell. And by using high throughput screening of drugs, we can find the right dose and the right drug for that specific disease for that person. So currently how this happens is in academic centers. This is a slow process because the way of differentiating cells from stem cells to any cell type is a trial and error method. So what we've done is find markers in the genetics of a person to analyze what specific molecule concentrations and what specific molecules are needed to transform these cells into cardiomyocyte, so that we can do this process more efficiently and in a time-effective manner, so that it can reach the patient further. This technology of deriving these cardiomyocytes or kidney cells just from skin biopsy has been work which has led to Nobel Prize. So why do we want adverse? So we'll be starting off with adverse drug reactions, and within that, you can see that there's over 2 million adverse deaths. More than 2 million adverse reactions throughout the world in a year, and this caused the market to be $136 billion. And out of these adverse drug reactions, 36% are due to cardiovascular disease drugs. So why are we focusing on cardiovascular disease? So me and my co-founder, Luke, we've been doing our PhDs at Oxford. So we've been working in the fields of cell differentiation, embryology, and cardiovascular genetics. And so we have insights into how these specific cells are made and like what we can do to screen them. Further, there are other segments of companies as well who are working on either providing cells or doing drug screening, but not both. And so that's where we are different providing it. In terms of entry into the market, we'll also be doing clinical trials in a dish, so we can get your cells and make them as a patient and like try different drugs on them. So that has no regulation. So that'd be the entry point, and then work towards our precision medicine in clinics for adverse drug reactions. And finally, we want to be at a stage where we can make a machine and put it in your hospital where you can just put a skin biopsy and generate any cell type. And we can currently do it manually, but we want to have a machine that can go everywhere. Thank you.
All right, time's up.
Thank you so much for your pitch, Genesis. Judges, any questions?
Quick question. Sorry, I forgot your name.
Meros.
Meros. Sorry. Thanks, Meros. Great idea. Quick question. What is the accuracy of biomimicking the cell that you're trying to culture? What is the accuracy of the biomimic that you're actually doing?
Sorry, yeah, so if I'm getting your question right, it's like how representative is it of the patient itself, right? So,
yeah.
So definitely, so what we're doing is taking your cells, so that represents your genetic material. And that will turn into the cardiomyocyte that is relevant to you. And that's why it's totally unique to you. And so it completely matches that. So there have been different drugs that have been identified for specific genetic sequences that you can identify. This drug only works on this background. So these actually represent them really, really well.
So I'm thinking completely from a different side, right? I'm not a biology guy. So let's say you cultured something from a stem cell of some sort or a seed of some sort, which in this case is the plant that you're taking out, right? The way it is formed inside the human body, there would have been a lot of influences in the formation of that cell. So the very cell structure and the chemicals, the biomechanics, everything inside that would be different. What you will be doing is developing that in an ideal condition. So how representative is it of the actual chemistry inside the body? Because the chemistry inside the body changes. You know, I'm sipping through soda sitting here. That will have what is happening inside. That's what my question.
So definitely. So I didn't go into the complete details of it. So we mimic the chemistry in terms of like the development, and also use microfluidics to have the same environment that the cell is growing within your body. So mimicking in the sense that we do draw a biopsy, like a liquid biopsy of the blood, and mimic those cellular conditions so that they develop in the same and respond the same.
Okay. And how fast is the process today in the lab? What's the duration?
So the way it works currently is that differentiation takes 2 to 3 weeks. But the way people would try it, they would try different conditions and try to work out the best way. But we've identified through our genetic databases markers that control which molecule we have to give at what time and what concentration based on the person's genetics. So that's where the proprietary thing comes in, that we can accelerate it. So instead of doing trial and error and trying 4 or 5 times, we can do it in the first go.
A couple of very quick questions. Thanks, Dr. Meros, for the presentation. Really exciting stuff. The first is around regulatory headwinds or tailwinds. What's your view on regulation, and how does that impact your product?
So definitely. So I think when we talk about adverse drug reactions and bringing it to the clinic, that's where the regulatory process would come in. But there are, for example, for the FDA, there are regulatory approval pathways that accelerate it because they're already getting these medications, and we're just helping them choose the right medication. And that's why we wanted to enter the clinical trial market. So imagine if all the 12 people we have right now here, they were to enroll in a clinical trial, it will take a few months to enroll and go through the whole process. But if we just take your cells and do all that process within the Petri dish, we can find out which drugs work or not. And that's where there's no regulation at present. It's just to help the pharma companies develop drugs faster. So that'd be our way in to establish our connections and then work towards a regulation for FDA for going to the clinic directly.
Okay, cool. And the second is around sort of the reason for this solution. I guess most, as you mentioned earlier, many drugs, 1 in 3 would lead to ADRs, and unfortunately people of color and underrepresented communities tend to suffer these more because most of the clinical trials do not include a minority. So I'm curious to know how representative your sample size is, or the clinical groups you work with in terms of underrepresented communities.
Definitely. I think that's like a primary concern for us as well, and me having like a different background as well with what we studied in clinical trials as well. So we're having partnerships with different countries. So like I have connections in Pakistan, and we're working with something in Bangladesh as well as a couple of institutes in Africa to get these skin biopsies so that we can tailor these specific stem cells and cardiomyocytes to the background. So then we have the diversity, which is not usually available, because you can't bring these people in for clinical trials because most clinical trials are in US or Europe. But we're actually getting these cells, we can actually have the diversity and test these and make these drugs more effective so that they don't fail when they come to the market. And that's where the bottleneck is as well. And that's what we're solving.
Thank you, Dr. Morris.
Thank you.
Thank you for your pitch. Genesis, next up, we have City Spotter Limited. So if you could please share your screen.
My screen. Can you see my screen?
You can start now.
Yes.
So, hello everyone, my name is Pallav Setia. I'm the CEO and co-founder of City Spotter Limited. City Spotter was founded by me and Dushyant. We both come from technical and entrepreneurial background. As we all know, the spread of harmful, abusive, and hateful language is becoming a norm in the online world. With increasing usage of racial and sexual slurs in the online communication, internet has become a toxic place. It's becoming a threat to digital well-being and societal peace in the democracies throughout the world. The COVID situation has only amplified the effect. The countries are now enacting stringent fake news and hate speech laws worldwide. It is no more an ethical obligation, but a legal responsibility to act against it. Women are getting abused online. Children are facing cyberbullying attacks. Online hate is turning people violent in real life. Not only socio-political losses, it is heavily impacting our economies too. Facebook recently lost close to $72 billion in ad revenues just because it couldn't remove harmful content from the platform. Therefore, to solve this urgent problem, we are helping businesses by flagging potentially harmful signals in the content. Our technology aims at helping businesses to sift through harmful signals in the content to help them identify most at-risk situations. Brands and advertisers can use our technology to stay away from the harmful content, which will result in improving their brand reputation and customer perception. UGC platforms can use our technology to automate the moderation process. Another benefit is increased advertisement retention because of low harmful content, and it will also help them to be legally compliant. We currently have a suite of 9 AI technologies, and which is trained on more than 1.5 data points, 1.5 million data points combined. We have done multiple case studies to demonstrate our technology. We have a huge market potential with new laws coming in on a daily basis. The need for our solution is going to be exploding in the near future. We have been through multiple executive programs, accelerators, and won many competitions, currently being accelerated by Accelerate Cambridge and Disruptors AI Accelerator and IIM Bangalore Launchpad. We are also a member of minority representation body MSD UK and Technations Founders Network. We are currently executing 2 pilots with UGC platform and a news aggregator platform, and are in discussions with a cybersecurity firm to include our offering in their existing solutions. Our route to market includes to UK and Europe to global. We'll be reaching consumers directly via browser extensions and plugins for third-party content management software. And we'll be offering white label solutions to businesses such as cybersecurity firms, telecommunication networks, media channels, and internet companies. We'll also be offering individual APIs for individual use cases in the future. Thank you very much for listening to me. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much, City Spotter Limited. Judges, any questions?
Just a quick question. What's the traction like today? How many at least pilots or customers have you signed up so far?
We are currently running 2 pilots. One is a UGC platform, which is user-generated content in the social media domain, and another is in the news media aggregator.
And what's the from the pilot? Is there any revenue?
Sorry?
Is there any revenue from these pilots?
One is in the partnership. So we are doing one in a partnership format, and one is a paid pilot.
Okay. You didn't talk about the team. So how big is your team, and what capabilities does the team bring in?
So currently, me and Dushyant, we both come from technical background. I'm a computer science engineer. Dushyant also comes from IT background. He also is a certified data scientist. He has been leading our research and development. We have 3 data scientists working with us. So we have a team of 5.
So Danny, your question, please.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. If you've been testing with those 2 customers that you mentioned you're testing with, do you have any data on what is the percentage of false positives? Meaning that the system identifies someone as as aggressive or inappropriate behavior, but in fact they were just joking or they weren't actually behaving inappropriately.
So So our current accuracy and F1 scores are more than 70 plus for all of our air technology. So for all of our models, we are also trying to minimize the bias of the model so as to minimize the false positive as well, using many interpretability techniques like lines, etc.
Thank you.
Zube, if you don't have a question, can I just ask one last? Okay. In your opinion, Pallav, how long will you take to come up to 90% plus accuracy?
Oh, so we are already with 90 plus for accuracy with many of our models, but I'm just talking in general way because few of the models are in the range between 70 to 80, and few of them are actually has reached 90% and beyond. And with the pilots, we are also getting the access to proprietary data sets, and we are also doing semi-supervised learning. Using semi-supervised learning, we are generating our own data sets, and we are also in talks with universities to access their data sets as well.
Okay, thank you so much, City Spotter Limited. Next up, we have Bluetap. So if you could please share your screen.
Hello, can you see the screen?
Yes.
Fantastic. Hello, everybody. I'm Francesca O'Hanlon. I'm the founder and I'm the CEO of Bluetap. And we're a Cambridge-based startup trying to solve the world water crisis. So you've got 127 million households across the world where people can't turn on their tap and drink their water. It just blows my mind how basic a need is to have clean drinking water and how many people just don't have it. At Bluetap, we've been designing quite an impressive solution. So we've been 3D printing a household water purifier. And I've worked as a water engineer for 10 years now, and I wanted to design something that had 3 parameters. It was simple. So it doesn't require electricity, which lots of people don't have in emerging economies. It doesn't have moving parts that can break. It's durable. So it's designed to be used in quite difficult conditions, in some conditions in some cases. And most importantly, it's affordable to the people that need clean water. So I really don't think technology is the only solution to the world water crisis, but I think it can be a start. We've designed quite an innovative business model. So we don't just sell directly to customers. What we do is we work in emerging economies. This is a photo from our pilot study in Uganda in 2019. We train local technicians and plumbers to install the technology, to maintain the technology, and to grow their businesses, to sell themselves as businessmen. And they then sell on to the customers in their community. So this means the skills to maintain and fix the technology are there if needed, but also local technicians can gain a profit themselves. They can grow their own businesses. So just to see what that looks like actually in terms of our value chain, it costs Bluetap £10 to manufacture and distribute a chlorine doser. We then sell on to the technicians and plumbers along with a training course and a certification to prove that they're Bluetap certified for £50 per unit, the chlorine doser. And they then sell on to their communities for £70. So this means that some of the money is actually maintained in the community, because for us, we're a social enterprise, and this impact within the communities and the towns and the cities where we're working is incredibly important for us. So where do we sit in terms of the competitors? Well, on the left-hand side of the screen here, you've got a UV filter. You have UV, reverse osmosis. These are household water treatment technologies. People are paying £500 for these. This is way out of the price range of most people who are living in countries like Uganda and several other countries that I've worked in sub-Saharan Africa. And then you've got people who are not just drinking their tap water because they don't trust it. They decided to buy bottled water. This is £20 a month, which is a lot. And we've all heard about the environmental impacts of plastic waste. I mean, it's huge what's happening across the marine world. And then on the lower end of the socioeconomic spectrum, you've got people who are boiling their water to treat it. This is very, very common, and there are serious health implications associated with this, inhaling smoke and such. So the team, we're all University of Cambridge water engineers. I've worked in Africa, which is our target market, for 6 years. And I got told at the beginning of founding Bluetap, you need a hipster, a hacker, and a hustler to make a successful startup. The hipster can sell the product, the hacker can build it, and the hustler can hopefully get investors and audiences excited about where we're going on our journey. I hope that's what I've done in the last 3 minutes. So thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Bluetap. Now we're going to open the floor for questions. Judges?
Got a quick one. if I may. So who's the hipster, who's the hacker, and who's the hustler in your team?
Well, I'm the oldest, so I'm certainly not the hipster. I'm out of touch. The idea came from my experience working in South Sudan and Mexico, and feeling frustrated that the products on the market were just way out of the price range of the people that actually needed them. The hacker is Tom, and he's the one that's always in the lab and always tinkering with the product, and we're nearly at the patent phase. And then the hipster is the youngest of us, who knows how to engage social media. She carries out a lot of our advocacy on water access as well.
If I may,
Any other questions?
Yeah. This requires some kind of a system or partners for distribution, right? I mean, you can't go and educate everyone yourself, or you have to do it online, which is not possible in environments which we're talking about. So how do you solve that problem?
Yeah, so partnerships is really important to us. We partner with lots of smaller charities and larger charities to carry out the training. So it's actually the charity partnerships that carry out the training, some adult education centers. And then the way the product works is it's chlorination. So it's really reliable, really cheap form of water purification. But we have currently an investor, which is also a distributor of chlorine, who supplies the actual product that goes into the water supply to clean it efficiently.
Okay. What's the price per liter of purified water once it's through your system?
Oh, good question. Probably price per liter is in GBP, probably about 3 pence.
3 pence. Okay.
So it's pretty cheap, yeah. And I mean that's one of the benefits of chlorine is it can purify so much water at such a scale. So what I've mentioned here is the household model, but we've also got interest from schools and institutions because they need to provide lots and lots of water to lots of beneficiaries.
And beyond chlorination, are you looking at any other ways of improving the water quality? Because chlorine addition does purify the water, but only to a certain extent, right? It can't take away chemical impurities. It can't take away fungi, bacteria. What are you going to do with that?
Yeah, so there's some areas, heavy metals is the one issue the main issue that chlorination can't overcome. So also what we're looking at now is actually monitoring the water quality remotely, because part of the installation process is you have to check the chlorine levels there. But if you can monitor the quality remotely, you can chlorinate more accurately, and you can also understand the quality. And that's actually going to be a spin-out product that we hope to develop between 21 and 23.
So is 3 pence the current price, or once you go like a bit more scale, is it going to be lower? Because if you think about the price of water in bottles in those countries, for 15 pence, you could probably get the lower end plastic canister in the store.
So 3 pence is the price now. So all of our values are based off our pilot country, which is in Uganda. You probably couldn't get it below 3 pence because just of the generalized cost of chlorine. But I think compared to bottled water, 3 pence it's a lot lower than you're paying per liter for sure.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you so much, Bluetap, for your pitch.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Rock46.
Hey everyone, just getting set up. There we go. Okay, so hey everyone, thank you for joining us. We're very glad to be here and are humbled to be surrounded by such fantastic talent and to be part of such an amazing competition. Let's change the slide. There we go. So our mission is to provide reliable and affordable power to sub-Saharan region. The three of us have been working on this idea for the last year and a half, working with multiple local stakeholders to develop a test site and a 40 megawatt pipeline of solar farms in Kenya that solves several challenges. We are focused on addressing two key areas: reliability and affordability of power. Currently, there are up to 86,000 electrical faults per year in Kenya, and an average electricity cost of 14 cents per kilowatt hour for businesses and 21 cents per kilowatt hour for homes. That works out to be about 36% of someone's salary in Kenya, whereas in the UK, you're paying just 4.55% of your salary towards power. The fault rate and this cost is only set to increase as demand is expected to double in the region by 2030. Our solution is to bring together two cutting-edge technologies into one long-term solution that runs direct to consumers 24 hours a day at a cost of just 7 cents per kilowatt hour. Each solar farm we build is 30 megawatts, which is about 27,000 homes worth of power. It requires 3 components: the solar farm, an energy storage solution, and an assembly line to put all the pieces together in Kenya, which further reduces your costs. To make our solution happen, we've partnered with 2 key technologies that are currently approaching the market, and we're working with them to stay ahead of the competition. First up, you've got Azure Space. They designed a 33% efficient panel that builds upon decades of research. As well as producing more than 20% more per meter squared than traditional panels, it is also 60% more reliable, and therefore your solar farm life is up to 30 years compared to the standard 25 years. The second core bit of tech we'll be using is an energy vault system. They're backed by SoftBank and have an extremely simple energy storage solution that's perfect for the heat of sub-Saharan Africa. It raises and lowers blocks of building rubble to store and discharge energy. It has a round-trip efficiency of 90%, 0 degradation over time, and is triple the life expectancy of a traditional chemical battery. So, Rock46 takes a 2 and 10 approach to managing the investment fund used to build all of these solar farms. We have potential for up to 550 megawatts of solar farms across the sub-Saharan Africa over the next 5 years. The social impact is of huge importance to us. One of our first full sites, for example, is in partnership with a 20,000 home affordable housing development. Every solar farm will employ 60 people for 30 years and save millions in CO2 and electricity bills over its lifetime. Right now, we're waiting for COVID to clear up so we can then power on with our test site, reach financial close of our 10 megawatt proof of concept site by August, and then crack on with our pipeline. To summarize, we have developed a scalable power solution that will enable homes and businesses across sub-Saharan region to benefit from reliable electricity at half the market rate. Thank you very much for listening. We look forward to hearing your questions.
Thank you so much. Judges, any questions?
Okay.
You're on mute, sorry.
Sorry, Nzube, please go on.
No, I was going to ask more around the target. Are we looking at primarily consumers? You talked about you're building a portfolio, right? From what I gather, a portfolio of solar products to address the energy deficit. Are you going mostly consumers, or are you looking at SMEs, or what's the target?
Sure. So thank you for your question. Our initial target will be industrial groups. So we've identified 4 areas outside of Nairobi, which have high growth rate expected over the next 5 years. So the housing development, for example, is right next to a collection of industrial factories. So we'll partner with the housing development and also the factories. So together we can help boost up the area. Okay.
And from a fund management perspective, you mentioned the 2 and 10. Who would be the LPs in this operation?
Sure. So we've got letters of intent from several LPs at the moment, and they will be either your traditional ESG investment fund or your pension fund for lower risk projects. And then even it's so easy to invest, and we take care of so many different aspects of investing in solar that a company like Nike or Waitrose, who have no experience in anything to do with solar, will be able to invest with us safely.
So primarily institutional capital, you're not looking at retail?
We'd love to get there, but we're not there yet.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
What is your difficulty in scaling up today? What are your top 2 problems in scaling up the effort today?
So we currently have got a 10 megawatt proof of concept site that we are looking to test the technology, to double check it works, and then to use that to find a local partner. The main issue we're going to face is after that 10 megawatt site, we need to approach the government to get various permissions and to get certified as a power producer. But once we've got that permission ticked off, the only limit to us is how much money can we put in the fund to start with.
And then is that specific to the region in which you're working or the country in which you're working, or is it, do you think
that's pretty general, but we focused on Kenya at the moment. So that's for Kenya.
Okay, thank you so much, Rox.
Sorry, minor segue before I go, just to mention. So I sit on the board of a company called Renewables in Africa. do check them out and reach out to Tony. I think they might be a good partner to speak to about what you're doing, the work you're trying to do on the continent. So yeah, renewablesinafrica.com. No worries.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rock46. Next up, we have Red Hunt Labs Limited. So if you could please share your screen.
Hey guys, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for letting us speak here and compete with all the talented other startups. As said, we are Red Hunt Labs. My name is Shubham. I'm one of the co-founder and head of research for the company. We are primarily a UK-based cybersecurity company, and we focus on holistic perimeter security. Founded by both me and the other co-founder are quite technical in nature. We have been in the industry for the last 10 years. We are also part of Lorca Cybersecurity Accelerator. As said, we also have one director in the company who is a successful entrepreneur. The problem that we are solving is basically with the rise of all the cloud infrastructure and dynamic infrastructure, organizations don't really know that how much attack surface do they really have, which brings the problem of having untracked assets, which could be their back staging servers or IP addresses that they don't know, or maybe GitHub repository where people are posting their credentials, databases, etc. We help them try to understand these things and maybe track them for the organizations. The problem really arises because of the dynamic infrastructure. In terms of real-world examples, we have seen a lot of companies facing breaches, including Virgin Media, Equifax, Grab, etc., etc. All of them have faced these problems. What we propose is basically attack surface management solution through a SaaS offering that will help you continuously discover, track, and monitor your organization's online presence. Whatever is exposed on internet, you will be able to identify and track that using our solution. We continuously discover assets by doing internet scans on a daily basis. We also keep an eye on every commit going on GitHub, etc. We offer data leakage monitoring, and then we also offer periodic security assessment so that every month you can check whether you have new security vulnerabilities arise, as well as cloud security assessments. In terms of innovating, what we have done is we literally keep an eye on each and every asset that pops up on internet on a daily basis. So as and when a new asset comes in, we notify the client that, hey, you've got a new subdomain. Would you like to check for any vulnerabilities? And this really helps them, keep away all the bad hackers, stay compliant to all the regulations, etc. We've got a bunch of partners and customers to feed the company in terms of, our expenditures. We also do cybersecurity consulting. But so far, we have these many partners and customers. As of now, we have 8 proof of concepts running in. People are trying our product, giving us really helpful feedback. In terms of timeline, we started last year in April. By the end of last year, we crossed $100,000 GBP of revenue. Now we are a team size of 13 people. We launched the product in June this year, and so far we already have 1 unicorn customer beta. We have 2 paying customers who have actually renewed it after using for 1 month, and total revenue has crossed $200,000. And we were also selected in cybersecurity Lorca program this year. In terms of roadmaps for the product, we are planning to integrate now. We're planning to integrate with other platforms, more famous solutions where we can, just hook along and say, this is the integration options you have. We are also trying to integrate with management and ticketing solutions, so it makes easier for the customers. In terms of company, we are aiming for pre-series A funding. We are also trying to scale the operations in terms of sales and marketing. So this is all about the company, and I'm happy to take on any questions in case anyone want to reach us out. This is where you can. Thank you.
Thank you, Red Hunt Labs Limited. Mr. Daniil, any questions?
The only question I have is, can we go back to the kind of traction? Can you speak a bit more of what are some of the insights from your kind of first engagement with the customers, and what have you been, is the product need tweaking, or pretty much it's ready to go? And how much, the second question is, how much customization does the product require per client, or it's pretty much out of the box, works for everyone?
Okay, no, we definitely need a lot of customization. So the first customer that we identified quite critical vulnerabilities for them for the last 3 months consecutively. But definitely it comes along with a lot of user interface suggestions, like they would like blacklisting features, or the notifications were a little messed up. So things like that, they keep coming in. I will say we still need the product is perfectly working fine as of now, but I believe it will still take another 6 to 8 months to really shine and be quite stable and mature in terms of the product market fit. But I mean, it's a working prototype. It is a paying product right now, but we still, I think, need some more time to make it perfect.
I noticed you have just on the point of the traction and the different customizations for different sectors, from Gojek to Publicis. Are you trying to narrow down to focus on a particular vertical? That's my first question. Second is, why didn't you apply to the wireless cybersecurity program? But on a more serious note,
can you come again for the last one?
It's a joke about the wireless cybersecurity program for you to have applied. Would have loved to have you applied to join the WIRA program, which we work with NCSC on.
All right. So in terms of the customers, as of to be very honest, in the starting, it was more of we were trying to get any customer which is SME or enterprise, and then we had good connects in these companies, so it was fair enough, easy enough for us to get inside and use them as a beta customer. In terms of it narrowing it down, yes, we are planning to narrow it down to PFSI primarily because they have all the regulations and compliances for which they need to have a solution like us to make sure they're securing their customers' databases, as well as e-commerce and pharmaceutical. With the rise of COVID, of course, that's another area which we have identified needs a lot of our help in securing their assets.
If I've understood you correctly, you are in the business of diagnosing and highlighting vulnerabilities, not patching vulnerabilities, correct?
Yeah, we don't patch. Yes, we highlight the vulnerabilities as fast as we can. So if the vulnerability is lying outside for 3 months, because of our daily monitoring of the internet, we try to highlight that within an hour or maximum within a day. So they are more secure than because hackers keep an eye on the infrastructure and they try to find vulnerabilities and get inside. So we try to keep them away, but we don't patch the vulnerabilities.
And if a big enterprise customer doesn't want to, or rather if a big enterprise customer wants to run the entire system on a private cloud for himself, rather than looking at the outside world, would you be able to do that?
No, we don't really go inside of the cloud. I mean, we don't go internal of the network. It's all about whatever existing on the internet.
Whatever exists.
As a security lead, I always wanted to fix things which are in public first and then go on the internal stuff. So we focus only on external.
Okay. And does not having the capability to patch vulnerabilities or not having the capability to tinker from inside out, if I were to call it that, does that hurt your business model in any sense or traction in any sense so far?
I think no, so far it has not, because I think cybersecurity is a mature domain as of now, and people understand that people having expertise to find vulnerabilities don't have expertise to fill in those vulnerabilities. So we haven't. I don't think we have really suffered because of that.
Okay, thank you, Red Hunt Labs Limited. Next up, we have Livite. If you could please share your screen.
Perfect. So I'm James Naylor, and I'm the co-founder at Livite. And at Livite, our mission is simple, and that is to make well-being easy and accessible for everyone. The first thing I want to highlight is that there's a huge opportunity in the well-being space. Not only are more corporates starting to offer their employees access to a wellness app, but there's also a sizable market worth over £900 million in the UK alone. But businesses, and more specifically SMEs, aren't caring about all of their employees. And this isn't from a lack of wanting to care, but more from a lack of ability. They don't have the time, money, or resources. The past decade of employee well-being has been about yoga and gym memberships, and these only average between 2 to 4% employee uptake. And you look at that when 17% of any workforce is struggling with a mental illness, and many more are struggling in other capacities, you can really understand that there are employees who need help but can't access the resources that they're looking for. And that's what Livite was founded on, to make well-being inclusive. We've built a solution that covers all of a business's well-being goals for just £1 per employee per month. And based on our recent case studies, we've been able to 10x employee uptake, averaging anywhere between 30 and 40% versus the industry average of between 2 and 4%. And one thing that's very important to us at Liberté is that we're making sure that our well-being is science-led. There's a lot of academic research coming out now about the benefits that looking after your well-being can have, not only on you as an individual, but also for a business. And we've put this into 3 key pillars. Mind, which is around helping people cope with the normal stresses of life. So this is providing employees with information around sleep, meditation, mindfulness, financial well-being. Heart, which is around bringing a sense of fulfillment and connection to people. And finally, content around body, which is around promoting proper care of our bodies for good health. And these are interventions such as nutrition, cardio, mobility. So how does Liberté work? So we give employees an app that's available on both the App Store and Google Play Store. And from the get-go, we aim to identify their well-being needs, both through questions and how they use the app. So understanding if they're anxious around debt and financial well-being, or perhaps insomnia, not sleeping well, or maybe just worried about their diet and exercise. Based on this data, we're then able to tailor the resources we show to maximize impact, essentially creating a Netflix of well-being. And this content can be digested in many formats, whether it's video, audio, or just written content. So for example, if I'm struggling with my sleep, the Liberté app can understand that and then tailor the intervention it provides me, perhaps videos around meditation, mindfulness, maybe some sleep playlists, or even a course on understanding sleep. And we have unique selling points. Firstly is that diversity and choice, leading to a truly inclusive program. Secondly is the oversight, where we're able to collect novel data insights, which we can then provide to businesses. Third is the affordability, leading to a truly scalable solution across organizations of any size. And finally, simplicity. We make wellbeing management easy. And the final slide, it's one thing coming from a 21-year-old founder, but Liberté has been designed in collaboration with leading experts in HR, employee engagement, and elite performance. To name just a few, we've got the former head of people from Dyson, the former group HR director at National Grid, and the former head of wellbeing from Bloomberg, Vodafone, and British Gas. So thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to your questions.
Thank you so much for your pitch. Mr. Daniil, your question, please.
Can we quickly brush over the business model again? There's a B2, it's B2B, do I understand correctly? It's not B2C, right?
Exactly. So we sell to a business and they buy a number of seats for their employees. So for example, if we're selling to a 1,000 person business, they will buy 1,000 seats, and that gives all of their employees then access to the app.
At £1 per seat?
At £1 per seat, yeah.
Have you, so this works kind of like in the same manner as insurance, right? So you expect that only some people will utilize the actual services that you provide, right? No.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, our aim is to, for us, we understand that a lot of people are struggling and traditionally can't get the help. So we do want to buy everyone into what we're doing, and that's why we offer the breadth of content. Of course, we understand that in all likelihood, not everyone will, but to 10x what the industry average is, we're still happy with that, but understand we've got more work to do.
Yeah, because I just don't quite understand how, if everyone uses the service, your business model would hold. I mean, basically, the insurance companies use quite complex models to calculate what number will actually be actively using, and what payouts do they have to do. So in your case, I think you have to do some experimentation to make sure that you don't run into stretching yourself too thin and basically financing the programs out of your pocket.
I mean, for us, it doesn't matter how many employees use the app. It doesn't cost us anything. If one person uses it or 1,000 people use it, it doesn't make a difference, because we're, well, except for maybe server costs, but we're providing an app.
Content in the app, right? It's not just an empty space where recurrent content. There's got to be new content made.
Yeah, but the content shared for everyone. So and we price per eligible seat, not per active user. So we already have the content, and that's created, and of course we're constantly creating content. So in the same way Netflix, if they sold to a business, it wouldn't matter if they had 1 or 1,000 people taking it up. It doesn't become more expensive to Netflix because we've already sold that number of seats. If that makes sense.
Any other questions, judges?
Yeah, just one quick question. If I were to look at you as a well-being media platform or a content aggregator for well-being media online content, right? One question that I will have is, how will you make sure that you're actually addressing the need of the person or tailoring the content to what the person is looking for? Because as you just said, this is like a spray and pray kind of an approach, right? You have the same content for every kind of an ailment in some sense or the other. How would you look at personalizing the messages that you're providing or the content that you're providing to the user?
Yeah, I mean, on the app, we do have hundreds of hours of content. So, you know, if I was struggling with sleep, there's still tens of hours that I can consume around sleep content. If I'm struggling with my financial well-being, there's still tens of hours I can get there. So based on how I use the app, that's the content that's suggested to me. So different people will be shown different resources based on what they need. And yeah, so it's that simple. And then personalizing that response. And then the first part in terms of tracking it, you know, I only had 3 minutes, so I couldn't run into everything, but we do also track the well-being of employees. So we're able to monitor the impact that we're having in terms of their energy, their mood, their sleep, their diet, etc. So we're actually able to verify that the interventions we provide are having an impact on the team.
Okay.
Perfect.
Thank you so much, Livite. Next up, we have job seekers. If you could please share your screen.
Hello?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Perfect. Oops. Excuse me. Hello?
Yes, you can start whenever you're ready.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for this opportunity. My name is Dr. Elsa Zakang. Let me introduce you to job seekers. We currently live in a world that has drastically changed over the past 6 months, from a pandemic changing the way we work to events that have caused us to reflect on the role unconscious bias plays in limiting opportunities for certain groups of people. Job Seekers was created for such a time as this. Job Seekers was founded on the following premises. Unconscious bias hinders diverse recruitment. Diverse teams outperform their competitors by over 40% in profitability. Culture is the glue that holds an organization together, and video is the future. By 2025, more than 75% of the world's workforce will be millennials. And of this, over 80% of millennials consider how they fit to a company's culture before taking on a role. Now, Job Seekers is the careers platform that mitigates unconscious bias at the sourcing and screening stage of recruitment to increase diversity and inclusion and to decrease churn. It starts off with the ability to discover companies and the job opportunities. Next, you swipe right to apply for a job, and the Job Seekers platform matches candidates to employers based on their skill set and culture alignment. It produces an overall percentage fit score, which is presented to the employer anonymously, as can be seen highlighted in red. The employer then purchases credits to reveal and engage with selected candidates. From there on, our in-app video communication tool drastically reduces time and cost during the interview process. Job Seekers is free for employers to post jobs on the platform and for candidates to use the platform. If you're comparing us to Indeed.com, you get more than a CV. You get a pre-qualified candidate. Or if you're comparing us to a recruitment agency, you get a candidate that matches the job opportunity, the company's culture, all at a fraction of the cost to traditional recruitment. Now, this process is unique to Job Seekers and has been curated by GCHQ. So far, Job Seekers launched its beta app in April 2020 and has over 30 employers, including the global communications company Telefonica. It has over 1,000 active candidates and has had 3 requests to white label our solution, including one from Sir Stelios, founder of EasyJet. Job Seekers has successfully taken part in the Wire and GCHQ Accelerator Pitch at Palace, won the 360 Lab Accelerator competition, and our CEO has been named one of the top 50 most influential Black voices in UK tech industry. All this has been achieved under a team of 5 with complementary skills in technology, innovation, business development, and recruitment, all under our chairman, David Moffat, one of the founding members of Monster Jobs. Job Seekers is moving from beta to alpha, and with your partnership, we'll be able to substantially grow globally. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much for your pitch. Mr. Nzube, any questions?
Sure. So, Dr. Elsa, good to see you again, a Wira alumni for the company. Great pitch. You always kill it when you do make a presentation. I was going to just focus, without bias, a little bit more on traction to date. So you talked about some inbound white label requests. I know the recruitment market is super competitive, but can you just highlight some of the things that you've done over the last maybe 6 to 9 months, especially during COVID, that has taken your business a little bit further, please?
Definitely. So over the past 6 months, considering obviously the situation we're in within the recruitment space, we launched our beta app at April 2020, and we have gone from changing, or should I say, pivoting our business model. So initially our business, so due to COVID-19, our business model now is focusing on a pay-as-you-go model. What that means is that we offer credit packages of 5, 15, and 30, each at £100 per credit, and a credit equals to 1 applicant. And as well as that, it goes up to 80, 120, and 150 credits, again, because we've had requests from recruiters, such as Harvey Nash. And at this stage, high packages include, or should I say, cost £50 per credit. Now, why we have done this during COVID-19 is to ensure flexibility. As we all know, the economic uncertainty that we're in, companies are reluctant to necessarily commit to longer term contracts, but we hope to be able to move to a more scalable model once this economic certainty is stronger, such as a subscription model. We have done aggressive social media marketing, and the request is obviously there, and that's how we have grown over the past 6 months.
Okay, so a bit of business pivoting, a bit of marketing, yes, and several conversations around the new product, as it were. Okay. Yeah. Okay, and so no easy questions. I'm not going to be biased. and in terms of the actual sort of commercial traction, are you getting paid trials now with companies that you're engaging with, or how is that looking?
Yes, we're getting paid trials with companies, and this range from 500. Well, sorry, I just have a minute remaining. We range from a package of 5 to up to a package of 15 for employers, and for recruiters, it's gone up to packages of 80. So that has been really interesting, and employers are really liking that flexibility that we're offering at the moment.
Judges, any other questions? Any remaining questions?
One question. So it's easy to provide information for recruiters to slice and dice and look at, the profiles that are coming in. How are you helping the job seekers in making sure that they're giving a better pitch? Because I think that is a bigger problem compared to the other end, which is the consumption side.
No, definitely. So far we've been doing loads of webinars because our platform doesn't already host that. So we're doing a lot of webinars around just CV structuring and how to interview, or just standard interview questions. But something that is in our product development roadmap, which we hope to launch by early 2021, is having a discover page for candidates, really to be able to upskill and giving them on-the-go information of things that they need to be able to get into the different job markets, depending on what their requirements are.
And how is the matchmaking on your platform happening today between the supply and the demand side? How is it happening? Is it manual or is it automated? What are you doing at the back end for the matchmaking?
Oh, it's automated. So we have psychometric culture fit questions that the candidate fills out, and the employees of a certain employer fills out as well. And then this matches this up. And then we focus on specific things for the job role. So that could be skills, education, work experience, whatever that may be needed. And then we match this to produce this percentage fit score.
And last question, are you focusing on a particular sector or a segment, or are you sector agnostic?
So initially we were sector agnostic, but again, with COVID-19, the companies, or when I say the sectors that are still growing are obviously technology, marketing, and the pharma sector. So right now that is where we have placed our focus on.
Okay, thank you so much, job seekers. And next up, for a final pitch, we have EasySec. So if you could please share your screen.
Good afternoon. All right, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
All right, good afternoon. My name is Ez, and I'd like to tell you about securityanalyst.ai, B2B machine learning as a service startup. Before we start, a little about me. I studied entrepreneurship at Harvard Business School, and I researched security analytics at the University of Waterloo, where I met my co-founder, a top AI researcher bringing years of technical development. Before that, I graduated from McMaster University studying computer engineering, where I met Len, a very talented business development manager on our team. I accumulated 7 years worth of experience, education, and across business cybersecurity and AI, and I've been a serial entrepreneur. I've been part of multiple incubator and accelerator programs in the past 5 years. When I was young, I actually got hacked, even though I had the latest security products on my device, and I was a really tech-savvy user, as you can see. I became madly obsessed, and I grew passionate towards cybersecurity. I ended up being the youngest person ever to hold an ethical hacking certification, only when I was 13. And I can tell you the field is basically a mess. Before security analysts and security operations centers finally became mandatory for compliance. It is no more a mess now, but it's madly inefficient. A security analyst needs to sit in front of a monitor overseeing the infrastructure and piecing together stories such as an insider threat, cyber espionage, or cyber war. It's a very manual process that humans are just no good at. Yet, it's the bread and butter of our industry. And the stakes are increasing every day, of course, as you know, with IoT, 5G, and now the pandemic. To make things worse, the field actually suffers from one of the worst talent pipelines due to challenges such as sensitivity of some environments and a plethora of data to evaluate a day. We have more than 4 million security analyst jobs that are left unfulfilled, a number that actually increases 20% every year, though the average salary for the position is usually 6 figures. The only way possible to fill the talent gap is by automation. And the right tools for that are in the field of AI, which God knows we studied so much. Me and this guy have already filed patents, published papers, and became external reviewers and advisors in top-tier conferences. EVA, our product, relies on knowledge graph mining and explainable AI. So you can force multiply your team to drive better investigations and reduce resolution times. This is the character Eva created for herself as she generated her own face and avatar with a generative model. That way, she doesn't have to look like iRobot or Skynet anymore. She fully automates the job, including collaboration, writing reports, and teaching juniors. She already is getting rolled out to our current 3 clients, Rogers Telecommunications in North America, and 2 confidential entities operating in the Americas, Middle East, and the EU. Our conservative model predicts reaching $4 million in monthly revenue by our 3rd year, and our business plan includes a lengthy and validated competition analysis, business strategy, and Lynn developed a comprehensive sales and marketing plan too. Why us? We're motivated, passionate, closely knit, lots of experience and connections in the industries, very unique set of skills, and we delivered solutions together to RBC, Orange, and others, proving good team dynamics and ability to execute. It's an attractive market growing at an explosive rate. Lastly, bringing AI to an industry is a once-in-a-lifetime exciting opportunity. AI is cheap, good at complex analysis, and doesn't seem to want to end humanity just yet. Please join us on the journey to augment security teams around the world by automating security analysts. Pleasure to be here. Happy to answer questions.
Thank you so much for your pitch. Judges, any questions?
Quick question. So, are you consulting? Do you have a product that you're putting out in front of people? What is it that you're actually doing? I'm a bit worried about understanding that.
So currently, we do have a product, and the product is essentially a campaign detection tool. So a security operations center looks something like this. You have a bunch of different tiers, of course, in cybersecurity, and they're analyzing all of the logs that are coming from security solutions and infrastructure. And they're trying to figure out what is the actual story behind it. So is that a false positive? Is that maybe an actual cyber espionage act? So every single act of cyber terrorism or cyber war or whatnot includes a lot of different campaigns, and every campaign includes a lot of different attacks and processes. And to piece all of that together is a very manual process. And that is usually the main job description for a security analyst.
Okay. And how do you help these companies fix them? What is it? If I am a client who walks into your office and says, "Hey, I need your help," how do you go about doing that?
So we deploy a machine learning as a service product. It's called EVA. It's a suite of AI tools that interact together to perform what we see as campaign detection. So you can think of it as a bunch of different AI essentially tools that work together to piece together different information points and different data points into one singular campaign, such as clustering, for instance. So what we see here is a knowledge graph that has been modeled in a natural way to traverse. And the AI agent was able to piece together few different nodes into one campaign, although they might come from different time spans, they might come from different technologies, but they were able to be correlated.
Sure. Last question from my end. How do you bill the client? Is it per project, per hour of work? How do you, or is there a subscription cost? How do you bill the client?
So currently our billing is a machine learning as a service billing. There we go. So our machine learning as a service billing goes by essentially the gigabytes analyzed. So we have to look at how many gigabytes you're analyzing and we buy a license for that.
Okay. Oh, thanks.
I think the virtual assistant is pretty clever, the suite of products you offer, and you can't talk about the clients, so I appreciate that. But can you share a bit more about the sectors that you are focusing on for your product?
Understood. So right now we're working with a sector called the Managed Security Services Provider. It's a service sector that usually handles the security for other companies. So companies, because of the talent scarcity, are unable to fully employ or fully staff their security teams. They usually work with companies such as Accenture or maybe Deloitte or other security companies for consulting and security essentially analysis and whatnot. And we can work with these people to help them scale because they're unable to scale due to the human component of the process. Of course, right now we do have a client in telecommunications, which is Rogers in North America, and we have 2 other MSSPs around the world. And we're currently trying to close a defense contract with the DoD as well.
I know we've run out of time, but you should also consider applying to the WIRA cybersecurity program.
I shall.
Thank you so much.
Just one.
With that,
yeah. I think one of the key things, at least to me, would be understanding your sales or marketing strategy. How do you plan to get those first big clients on board and stable behind your products? Because with products like this, in my expertise, that's usually where the success comes. And second, just a recommendation. I know there was a lot of really cool information in that presentation. I like the pictures, but you went so fast that it all got jumbled up in my mind, at least. It was like lightning fast, just, a lot of cool stuff, but slow down.
Sure thing. So thank you for the feedback. I shall slow down. And as per your question, I think you were asking about how do we actually grab these clients. So what we do for marketing is we use something called stunt marketing, or something along the lines of guerrilla marketing. We work with these people to essentially showcase our product in a very exciting, out of the world manner, and this is why we have an identity for it. So we call it the agent EVA. And other than that, we also utilize our own connections. So Rogers and the DoD and whatnot have been our own connections via direct sales. So because the founders are very essentially connected in the industry, we were able to grab the first few. But moving forward, the marketing plan is to use the identity that we created and essentially file applications for security analysts. So we file an actual resume. We do have a resume and a cover letter and all of that.
Thank you so much for your pitch. And with that, we come to an end of our pitching round. Now the judges will take some time to deliberate and decide who will be the winner as well as the runner-ups for the EWC United Kingdom National Finals 2020. So please stay tuned.
Requesting all judges to please join the breakout room. All right, all right, all right. So I hope that was enough to raise the excitement levels in each one of you. As you all can see, our judges are back in the meeting. They're back with the results. They're back. They've decided the fate of who's going to win the Entrepreneurship World Cup UK competition today and represent the country at the global level. I know you're all excited. You all want to hear the results as soon as possible. But before going there, I would first like to request our judges to say a few words and share about their experience from today. So, Mr. Daniel, over to you.
Yes, thank you, everyone. And I'd like to thank all the entrepreneurs for solid pitches. It's it's always so interesting to see. I learn something new every time I'm part of these panels. I like to thank the startups because they teach me something new, and I certainly did learn something new. And I hope I was able to contribute something to you guys as well. I think every single startup I've seen today has a potential. I mean, even the ones that will not proceed to global continue on the path that you've started. I haven't seen a startup where I would have said, doesn't seem like it's going anywhere. So I think that's a very good level. And second, I like to just open an invitation to, if any one of you needs help, whether it's globally, whether it's in the Silicon Valley where GVA is based, or in other countries like Russia, India, and some countries in Africa where we're present, just let us know. Let me know. I'm happy to help personally, advice, connections, or maybe we'll be able to help as a venture fund and or as an organization. But keep doing what you're doing, and good luck to everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Daniel, for your kind words. Can I request Mr. Kirti to please go next?
Thanks, Vinay. I'll continue what Danlil was saying. Having been part of multiple startup journeys myself, both as an entrepreneur and advising a bunch of startups, it does take its own sweet time to hit the right note in that sense, where you are on a path for rapid growth. So keep at it. This is but a simple stop on the journey. Whether you make it here or not shouldn't matter to your ultimate aim of seeing your company growing and taking the world by surprise, or storming into the world stage at any given cost. With that, TGELF and our group, the Sun Group, we do work very closely. In fact, our corporate group funds the foundation. The founders are the same for both the corporate group and the foundation. We will definitely stay connected with all of you guys, and we closely monitor what is happening. And as a corporate group, we are very, very happy to help you with anything that we can do. We operate out of every continent on the planet. We've got operations in multiple sectors, and that's an open offer to any of you guys. Similar to what Dandil said, in case you guys want to reach out to any one of us at TGELF or at the Sun Group, we are very, very happy to help you guys. And best of luck for everything that you do in the future.
Thank you, Kirti. Mr. Nzube?
Sure. So first, thank you, organizers, for putting this together. Well done on executing, and for the opportunity to be part of the judging panel. To clarify, I'm actually here in a personal capacity, as Wira is not yet a partner with TGELF, but I'm working on that with my colleagues, and hopefully we can get that across the line sometime in 2020. I'd also like to congratulate all the entrepreneurs that took part in this. It's amazing to see your pitches, and I know it's a lot of hard work that went into preparing for each of those presentations, having been part of several demo days in several other organizations, including Wira. And again, echoing what my colleagues have said, if any of you would like any help with any aspects of your growth, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm on LinkedIn or on Twitter. And again, well done to everyone. And I know everyone is aiming for the top prize, and unfortunately there's just one winner today. It was a really hard decision, but well done to the winner and to everyone else that has participated.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, Mr. Nzube. And I think with that, without taking any more time and without further ado, we're going to announce the winners for our competition today. I'll start with the runner-up, and in no particular order. They're both equal to us. So our runner-up for today is Bluetap. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Would you like to say a few words?
Yeah, just want to say thank you so much. That's great news, and you know, getting any recognition or any kind of support for the work that we're doing is just it's always really motivating. It makes you want to continue. So yeah, it means a lot to us. Thank you very much.
Awesome, awesome. Congratulations once again. So as a runner-up to the competition today, BlueStack is going to receive $100,000 worth of services as a reward from Entrepreneurship World Cup. And they will also become a part of the Global Finalists Pool, which is a pre-round to the EWC Global Finals. And with that, they stand a chance to represent UK at the Global Finals. Congrats once again. Our next winner for today, or our next runner-up for today is Genesis. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Want to say a few words, Genesis?
Yeah, no, thank you for the opportunity. I think I've learned a lot, especially from the questions as well. There's like things to work on, but thank you for the opportunity.
Awesome, awesome. Congrats once again. And finally, the winner for today is going to take home $700,000 worth of services as a reward from Entrepreneurship World Cup, and also reserve a guaranteed spot at the EWC 100 as a global finalist is Job Seekers. Congratulations, Job Seekers.
Oh my God.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Oh my God, thank you so much. This means so much to us. And really looking forward to it, and really looking forward to taking this to the next level and gaining as much support from all of yourselves as much as we can. And any feedback, we're willing to learn and iterate and go as quickly as possible. So thank you very much for this opportunity.
Awesome. Congrats. Congrats once again. And as said by our judges, everyone today is a winner. And I think with that approach and on that note, we're going to say goodbye to all of you who joined us today. Thank you so much once again. This is
so much, guys.
Entrepreneurship World Cup UK signing off.
Thank you.